So yeah, I thought I'd go through a couple of sounds that maybe people would like to know how to make them. Something I've got into recently in a big way is sort of sound recreation. So I've been hearing sounds in techno tunes or electro tunes or other genres, and really wanted to recreate them. And one of the main ones a little while ago now was this one, which is like classic sounds that D Ramirez has used a lot, which is classic electro sound, which is kind of it's like a classic sort of electro chord sound, and it's really all about tuning the oscillators in a certain way. It's a fairly basic sound. So the way I worked out how to make this sound was to start with just a low saw wave. So let's just take the glide off that. So I started with a low saw wave, which is tuned one octave below the main note, and then there's one which is an octave with it, so you kind of get this. And the more you layer, like especially this works the same with any oscillator, but you get this kind of phasey top end from this type of sound because there's no detuning on it whatsoever. So the more you stack up these the saw waves, the more kind of slight phasing in the tops you get. There's a little bit there, and the key thing really is to basically, it's like a very wide major chord, this sound. So you're adding in another oscillator, which is another saw wave, but it's tuned an octave and a major third above the keynote, which, if you do it in semitones, is 16 semitones, and you get this sound. So that's like a major chord, but it's spread over the oscillators. And then to get that kind of movement in it, I've set up a macro in Massive to control the decay and the release of the envelope, the volume envelope of the entire sound. In this version, you can see this this section is, I use this a lot. I can't recommend this enough, because what you can do is take loads of elements of the sound and map them all to the same knob. So you're using one thing I've been doing as well is you could maybe map vibrato and pitch bend on the same thing. So it's by using that one knob, the whole sound goes up an octave and has loads of vibrato on at the same time. So you can create like a lot of sort of different movement in it by just using one knob if you use this system. So with this, if you disregard the filter for a second, volume up, you get quite a short note with a little bit of release when the I've called it expander, the macro that I'm doing this with. And then the more you bring up, it's routed to the mod wheel, so that's what's controlling it. The more you bring it up, the sound opens up, and the release basically takes some time, so it really opens up over time. And the other way of increasing that effect, which is used a lot with these sort of sounds, is to do the same thing but on a low pass filter as well. So I've actually routed that the master envelope of the whole sound to the filter as well. So on if you have the mod wheel down, have this thing down, you'll get these very short notes, and then the more you bring it up, it will also get brighter as the sound gets longer as well. So and there's also a bit of glide on there because that's often used in these things. So yeah, that's my classic electro stab. So another sort of variation on the same principle is to basically just change the patch. So it's like I mean, there's a million permutations of tuning the oscillators in quite a wide, in a chord way, but you can also kind of get this more like, a lot of like old sort of techie drum and bass tunes use stabs like this, like you know, and that's it's just a rough version that I've just knocked up, but it's just a question of tuning the oscillators in a different way. Now this one is tuned so that there's a minor note in there, so it's effectively a minor version of the previous thing. I've actually taken the minor note and put it so it's just 3 semitones above the key note. So the high that was previously the highest note of the chord was the major note, and now it's a lot lower down the scale. There's lots of room for scope on those kind of sounds, and like loads of you know, there's a lot of techno and electro people using that kind of sound at the moment. So I got really into working out how those sounds work.